We now want to pay our respects and honor our martyrs. We ask for a moment of silence for the more than 9,000 Palestinian people who have been murdered in the genocidal war of Israel against our people.
Yes, that is a Democrat Party leader at the genocide rally on Saturday in Washington, D.C. Tens of thousands of jihadis and Democrats. We murder the genocidal Jews, and he wants to praise the martyrs of the jihad. The jihad is here. They live among us. And the Democrats are waving them in because the Democrats are not on our side. Speaking of which, spitballing with my pal, Sebastian Gorka, going back and forth. And you may know Steven Crowder, Louder by Crowder. Steven Crowder's a lot of fun, does great stuff. And Steven Crowder on his website has obtained exclusive access to the Nashville Covenant School Shooters Manifesto, which the police have been keeping a secret from the public for well over a year now because it doesn't conform with the Democrat Party's agenda. Had the transgender, mass murdering, suicide attacking, mentally ill Democrat been wearing a MAGA hat, then we would have gotten the manifesto in a day. But here we are, all this time later, 28-year-old graphics designer, that's what Audrey Hale was, once attended the school that Audrey Hale, a man pretending to be a woman, attacked Nashville, Tennessee, the Covenant School, and murdered 6 people, I think. And then the police came and shot him to death while he was pretending to be her. Her pronouns are dead, bleeding, shot, killed. Forget about it. Get out of here. But the lunatic attacked this school where the lunatic once attended as a student. And get a load of this stuff, because this mass murdering, gender dysphoric Democrat who, again, yet another suicide attack by the Democrats, attacked this school, murdered all these people, was then gunned down by the police, who had no choice but to gun down this young man who was posing as a young woman. And now, thanks to Steven Crowder and Team Crowder and not the New York Times, we've obtained exclusive access to the Nashville Covenant Shooters Manifesto. Their breaking news Nashville Transgender Manifesto leaked. And here are a couple of quotes. I hope I have a high death count. I hope I have a high death count going into murder people. Specifically targeted students with, quote, white privileges. Now, this person is white. But the Democrat Party did this to this person who was once a normal young boy who was being raised by loving parents. And then the Democrat Party sunk their teeth into this young boy, made him think that he's a young girl. He's white, and he hates white people because of the Democrat Party and their agenda and their manifesto, which we should also gain access to. And he, pretending to be she, was, quote, ready to die. Now, Steven Crowder and Louder with Crowder exclusively obtained 3 pages of the Nashville shooter Audrey Hale's alleged manifesto. Hale, a transgender 28-year-old man going by the name Aiden Hale, entered the Covenant School March 27th of 2023. Is that true? That's wrong, right? Was it only? Because it seems like a lot longer ago than that. Holy cow, it really was. I thought it was longer ago than that. So many news stories since then of Democrats killing people and carjacking and murdering and looting and plundering. The Democrats. entered the Covenant School on March 27th of 2023 in Green Hills, Tennessee, killing 6 people before being shot and killed by responding officers. The manifesto, which has been kept a secret, detailed thoughts Hale had leading up to what was referred to as a death day. He, pretending to be she, called it Death Day, as well as a timeline in which the shooting would take place. Audrey Hale, not really Audrey, can't believe I'm doing this, he wrote, but I'm ready. I hope my victims aren't. I hope I have a high death count. Kill those kids, he wrote, being transgender. Going to fancy private schools with those fancy khakis and sports backpacks with their daddy's Mustangs and convertibles. Keeping in mind, he went to this school, all right? Want to kill all you little crackers. Little crackers. White male pretending to be, now I guess, a black female. Like Michael Jackson in reverse, kind of. Want to kill all you little crackers with 3 exclamation marks. Bunch of little, there's a slur here for gay people, the F word, like a bundle of sticks. You know, a bundle of sticks is a faggot. And it says, bunch of little F words with your white privileges. Sure. And then Hale said there, several times I could have been caught, but especially back in the summer of 2021. It might be 10 minutes tops. It might be 3 to 7. It's going to go quick. Wow. So there's the, and here are pictures of the pages from a lined notebook, the kind of notebook a student might use. And, you know, Wait, is a girl pretending to be a boy or a boy pretending to be a girl?
I thought it was the letter. It's apparently she was born a woman, but she's pretending to be a man. Aiden.
Oh, pretending to be a man. It's hard to keep track of the Democrats these days, isn't it? My apologies. I thought that this one was born a male pretending to be a female. This one was born a female pretending to be a male. I see. Is that the same mental illness or is that a different mental illness? We'll have to ask a Democrat. If there are any Democrats out there, maybe you could explain this. It's a Democrat Party thing. My apologies. So many transgender killers to keep track of, and there are plenty, actually. The shooter attacked the students and teachers at the Covenant School, Nashville, Tennessee. Identified by police as 28-year-old Audrey Hale, who then changed her name. I'm so sorry. You know, the Democrat Party has put everything into a blender, and now you got to pull it out and iron it out and, disinfect it with the Democrat lunacy. That's right. My apologies. But what's the difference, really? Honestly. I mean, it was a horrible massacre, and this lunatic. And why did they keep the manifesto a secret until now? Why? Because, hard to say. So a girl pretending to be a good-born Audrey Elizabeth Hale, going by Aiden Hale. Democrats have different pronouns than the rest of us, don't they? Yes, they do. Your Democrat Party. Yeah, thank you for that. And thank you, Bill. Because, I'm reading, and here are the two names that are being used, and there are pictures, and in one picture looks like a female, other picture looks like a male, because the Democrat Party, you know how they are. Mother of pearl. Mother of pearl. We've also got the Virginia election tomorrow. I want to talk about that, and the news media is very excited about the election in Virginia and elections in Ohio because abortion. And you know how they love abortion more than transgender mass murders at Christian schools. Hard to say. The Democrats, maybe Democrats could call in. Do you guys like abortion more than mass murders by transgender people at Christian schools? Or do you like jihad more than any of those? Which do you like more, Democrats? I really want to know. That's why we're at 888-630-9625. Let's go to the telephones. Let's go. See, I feel a little silly because I was looking at the things, and male to female, female to male, Democrat to Democrat. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Donna, calling from Frederick, Maryland. Donna, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Well, hello, Chris.
Hello.
What a morning it's been already. The weekend was quite alarming, and when I heard about the Hamas charter, well, it speaks for itself, and it's a shame our college students are so ignorant with respect to even these groups, BLM, Antifa, the KKK. It all sums up Nazism. And, boy, have they put a big red bow on that. And I will say one other thing. I was thinking about President Biden and the attack on the White House. And, my question was, what is our do-nothing president going to do about all of this? And, of course, the answer is in the question itself. And I think you could probably elaborate on the whys with respect to all of it.
Well, Joe Biden was on vacation again when he likes vacation. He takes big Air Force airplanes to go places. And I think he went to Maine on Friday, and then he went to one of his multi-million-dollar homes that he bought with cash with his ill-gotten gains in Delaware. I don't know if his crackhead stripper, knocker-upper, Russian hooker Dayton's son was there or not, but he wasn't at the White House while the mob was attacking the White House. And the news media thought this was no big deal at all. And I think it is a big deal, but it is a, this is a rising tide of anti-Semitism in the United States of America, and it is being driven, Donna, 100% by the Democratic Party. Am I right about that?
You're totally correct. And I'm also as concerned about the Republicans in name only that are supporting this same agenda. And it's really going to be up to us, the people, to make a dramatic change. What that's going to be remains to be seen.
Well, that is a fact. One thing's for sure, the future remains to be seen, as we always like to say in newsrooms. And it is, this presidency is the most disastrous presidency I've witnessed in my lifetime. Jimmy Carter's presidency was not as disastrous as Joe Biden's presidency is right now, and it's still unfolding in real time before our very eyes. And the violence at the White House, again, the red paint, desecrating, graffitiing statues, the white wall with the black wrought iron fence around the White House was desecrated by these animals with they dip their hands in red paint and put their handprints on the beautiful white limestone wall surrounding the White House. And I assume that means the Secret Service or maybe the FBI, remember them? Maybe they could get the fingerprints and they could charge people with insurrection and they could put them in jail for 22 years. But, Donna, you think that's going to happen?
Highly unlikely. And, we're all still dealing with the fallout from the phony insurrection that they coordinated. And hopefully we'll hear more about that. I don't think it's quite as public now as far as the media goes. It's mostly alternative media reporting on it.
Yep.
But, the people know the truth. And all this misinformation, disinformation, BS, no, it's called information, and it's either true or it's false. And I think we're going to have a great awakening in this country like we've never seen. And unfortunately, we still have many sleepyheads out there, which you emphasized earlier in your program.
Sleepyheads, definitely sleepyheads. Yeah, and there are a lot of, you used the appropriate word, ignorant. There are a lot of extremely ignorant people, and they have been provided with a good deal of misinformation, disinformation. The disinformation campaign run by the left in this country is now pro-Hamas, anti-Israel, pro-jihad, anti-Semitic, and not on our side. And I keep thinking of that phony disinformation campaign run against the American people by our intelligence community on the lead up to the election of 2020, That was election tampering. That was an insurrection by John Brennan, the CIA director, and the rest of that cabal that those criminals run with, including Dana Bash's ex-husband, Jeremy Bash. They should all be in the can, in the hoosgow, in the slammer. I've got a fun Florida member of the State House down there, Republican Randy Fine, I want to share with you. I watched him on the television this morning, and I thought, you know what? This guy's doing a pretty good job. I want to share him with people. So that's coming up. Donna, thank you for paying attention. Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Book by this July 31st for extra savings. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. I want to thank Steve in Vienna, Virginia, who sent along a helpful item today. Because when I was talking about the transgender, anti-white but white, anti-Christian but Christian, anti-rich kid school who went to the richest school, transgender, mass murderer, suicide attacker, I switched around the genders of the trans person, but never mind that now, because here's the story that was just sent along from the Daily Mail and not the New York Times. Author comes out as transgender man. That's no big deal, right? After his wife came out as transgender woman. And the pair, who have a transgender daughter, now live in a 4-way open relationship with their transgender lovers. Somebody get the fire hose, because let's go on. Author Rowan Knox, formerly known as Amanda Jet Knox, has announced that he is now a trans man. You mean she is now. Knox had previously made headlines after his wife, who had been his husband for 19 years, came out as a trans woman. How's the marriage going otherwise? And now you need like a decoder ring. You need some kind of a checkerboard. The couple, I thought it was 4 of them now. The couple are now in a polyamorous relationship with a fellow transgender couple after their daughter also came out as transgender. Who do you think they vote for? I'm thinking I know where their donations go. The Democrat Party has accomplished this in a remarkably short period of time. This is what cultural dominance can do for you. Information dominance. Should you be allowed to vote at this point? If you've demonstrated what your decision making is all about. Now, you remember Tara Reid. Tara Reid was a Capitol Hill staffer that worked for then Senator Joseph Robinette Biden of Delaware. She was a young woman at the time. He's been there since shortly after the Civil War. And he sexually assaulted her by pinning her against a wall and forcing his hands. And I think you've heard the rest, and I'll leave it at that. Tara Reid retweeted an Arab journalist named, hilariously, Mohammed Smeary. Mohammed Smeary. That's a funny name for a journalist because they smear people. So Smeary, Mr. Smeary. Mr. Smeary, Mohammed Smeary, he tweeted, Israel is punishing journalists in Gaza by killing their families. You know that that's untrue, but he's a journalist in Gaza. Journalist Mohammed Alalul lost 4 of his children in the Israeli bombing last night. That's what Mohammed Smeary, in an X-post, put out there. And Tara Reid, sexually assaulted by Joe Biden. I guess she's still a Democrat. It doesn't matter. It's so deeply ingrained in their brains that no matter the sexual assaults or, the terrorism, she fled the country and now lives in Russia because she feels unsafe in the United States because of the threat she believes from the Biden family, that she faces. And so Tara Reid retweeted Mohammed Smeary with his lie. And Tara Reid wrote, "Do not let Israel or USA say this is, quote, collateral damage, end quote, or argue human shields. It is genocide. It is murder. This evil causing unfathomable grief and such cruelty by Zionist Israel committing war crimes with impunity." I think she's trying to get back in the good graces of the Democratic Party. Kind of sounds that way, doesn't it? 37 Palestinian journalists killed and their families targeted by Israel. She believes whatever, the last thing she heard is what she believes. 10,000 Palestinians, innocent men, women, and children killed. It is unconscionable, she writes. I think that Biden White House is going to invite her back into the United States now. Give her an invitation to the White House Christmas party with Joe Biden. That's pretty amazing stuff. Now, your Democrat Party is not mentally up to the task of living in the modern world. Let's just say that. And, speaking of Kamala Harris's stepdaughter, she has a stepdaughter. We're back to the transgender thing. Ella Emhoff is promoting an $8 million Gaza fundraising campaign. And the New York Post has the story, but the Washington Post and the New York Times do not. The stepdaughter of Vice President Kamala Harris. Have you ever seen this person? They hired her to be an international fashion model, and she looks like she was just liberated from Bergen-Belsen. But they put, somebody else's clothes on her and said, "Isn't she beautiful?" Not to the living, no. So the stepdaughter of Vice President Kamala Harris is publicly raising money for Gaza. You got to have soup and stew, sending soup and stew nourishment to kill the Jew, right? That's the thing. Ella Emhoff, 24 years old, whose father, First Gentleman Doug Emhoff, is Jewish, fixed a fundraising drive supporting urgent relief for Gaza's children. They care very deeply about children and funding for Planned Parenthood, which is another intellectual disconnect that they can't explain because they're not aware of it, I think. The anti-intellectual left, just extraordinary. Send to Hamas soups and stews, nourishment to kill the Jews. That's what the Democrats are up to. You think during World War II, these people were sending aid to the Nazis? I think it's quite possible. So she's raising money and for the Gaza. I got an idea. Drop that whole genocide thing in your charter and stop. Release the hostages that you're holding, hundreds of them, who are being abused, doubtless, in unimaginable ways, before they murder them. And Ella Emhoff's plea for money for the jihad makes no mention of the hundreds of Israeli adults and children murdered, the 1,400 Israelis killed by Hamas on October 7th, the hostages. But she's got 315,000 Instagram followers, and they're practically all Democrats, so they support the jihad because they're jihadis. They're the Democrat Party. The jihad has never gotten such a boost as the one that they've gotten lately from the Democratic Party in the United States of America. They couldn't have imagined this boost until it happened. Angelina Jolie's father, that's John Voight, a considerably more significant actor than is Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie's father, John Voight, blasts her lies about Israel's war against Hamas, saying he's disappointed in the actress after she slammed the IDF for deliberately killing children in Gaza airstrikes. The Democrat Party, they have one brain and they share it. Right? They sit on the curb and they cut it up with a knife long ago, and everybody got a little piece of the same brain. Either that or they download, satellites go over and Their necks are plugged into the wall by an RJ11 jack from an old telephone, and they download the Democrat talking points. But Angelina Jolie is a lunatic from way back. Didn't she enjoy cutting herself and bleeding? That was one of her things, right? She's had some other very freaky stuff, too. She's a freak, a super freak. She's super freaky, I will have to say about that. Yeah, so she's raising money for the jihad, for the enemy. Feed the enemy so that they may kill again another day. Also, the New York Post reports, but nobody else, well-financed Democrats look to oust anti-Israel squad members Ilhan Omar and Cori Bush. They're getting too embarrassing, I think, for them. These people are really extremists and radicals. You know, the Democrats have worn out the word extremist by calling everybody that doesn't vote for them an extremist and a radical and MAGA extremists and stuff, while they're burning our cities and looting all of our stores and turning boys into girls. They call you an extremist for being comparatively normal. They don't like normal. Speaking of which, we have Remember Normal t-shirts and Remember Normal coffee mugs at the Chris Plant store on Al Gore's Amazing Internet, where you can get a lot of other fun things too, like Joe Biden Cobra, 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 which is what the Secret Service says into their microphones when Joe Biden's walking around naked again, which he does a lot. Lefty squad members in Congress are facing challenges from well-financed pro-Israel Democrats looking to oust them from power over their inflammatory views about the Jewish state. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell became the latest entrant into the field this week when he announced that he would drop plans to challenge Missouri GOP Senator Josh Hawley and instead aim his firepower, he's using military language, on a primary challenge with lefty radical extremist Democrat member of the House of Representatives Cori Bush. I think we have to stand with our allies, Bell said. And Israel has always been an ally. Not anymore, not to the Democrat Party. Last month, Cori Bush was one of just 9 House Democrats who voted against a measure condemning Hamas after the terrorist organization killed roughly 1,400 people in the deadliest terrorist attack in Israel's history. And there are 9 Democrats who said, no, I'm for killing them. Because the left is a blood-drenched, murderous lot, and they always have been. So it's good that a couple of them, at least, are facing primary challenges, but the Democrats will show up in numbers, you know. Rashida Tlaib is one of the extremist radicals. She's a jihadi. And she has an X account. And she has an X post from over the weekend. From the river to the sea, she wrote, is an aspirational call for freedom, human rights, and peaceful coexistence, not death, destruction, or hate. She's a lion Sacagawea. Lion Sacagawea. She wrote, my work and advocacy is always centered in justice and dignity for all people, no matter their faith or ethnicity. That is a second lie contained in a 2-sentence post by Rashida Tlaib. No, from the river to the sea means kill all the Jews and wipe out the state of Israel and turn it into an ashtray. And then we'll call it Palestine or something. And then we'll hang all the gay people from trees. And we'll see if we can find any Jews elsewhere and kill them wherever we find them. Now, from the river to the sea means wipe Israel off the map. And they try to muddy the waters with this BS, right? Because you're a Democrat Party. And also, Fox News, Democratic Party members react to Representative Tlaib's attempt to justify use of anti-Semitic chant. And a Democrat Representative, Eliza Slotkin, who is Jewish, and Jackie Rosen, who is Jewish, attempt to correct Congresswoman's understanding of from the river to the sea. Because Rashida Tlaib is out there lying about it, and she's very comfortable lying about it, because she's a lion Sacagawea and she's a jihadi. And Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin wrote, as the only Jewish member of Michigan's congressional delegation, I've worked to reach out to Arab and Muslim constituents. Stop groveling. Who I know are feeling fear and anguish right now. And I've tried to reflect that empathy in my approach to this crisis. Now, that's really pandering and pathetic and kind of sad. You're not addressing it, but she gets to it eventually. No, from the river to the sea means kill the Jews and wipe Israel off the map. That's the thing. I ask the same of Rashida Tlaib, Slotkin wrote. The phrase from the river to the sea is one of division and violence and is counterproductive in promoting peace. She said, none of us, especially elected leaders, should amplify language that inflames a tense situation. Oh, you think it's tense? Makes it harder for our communities to find common ground. Maybe we should just go loot something then. And Congresswoman Jackie Rosen writes, Rashida Tlaib is wrong. From the river to the sea is a call for eliminating the state of Israel that rejects a two-state solution and puts Jews in danger. We must reject extremism, no matter which side of the aisle it comes from. About 98% of the time it comes from your side of the aisle. America's support for Israel remains unwavering. Yeah, not the Democrat Party's support for Israel, however. Not by a long shot. And I'm going to say it again. This is Pramila Jayapal has a sister named Sushila. And Sushila is now running for the House of Representatives in Washington. So we got to have two jihadi sisters. They'd be known as the jihadi sisters. From the state of Washington that would both be Democrat members of Congress. Right? Just crazy. Oh, I guess she's running from Oregon. Sushila Jayapal, sister of Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, who is a jihadi, has launched her bid for Congress. I got to tell you, the jihadis are taking over the country by taking over the Democratic Party. They won't need to invade, as that guy said, the audio we played earlier. Just crazy. Oh, and this is a great story. My headline for this was, Making Anti-Semitism Fun or Making Terrorism Fun. How do you make terrorism fun? That's completely crazy. A Palestinian woman, so-called Palestinian woman, crashed her car deliberately, like a suicide car attack. Palestinian woman smashes car into anti-Semitic group after mistaking them for Jews. The woman admitted she did it on purpose after watching coverage of the ongoing war waging in Hamas and Gaza. Must have been watching MSNBC. A Palestinian woman drove her car into a building occupied by an anti-Semitic group after she mistakenly thought she would be targeting the Jewish community. Ruba Auni Almageta, 34 years old, crashed her car into a building owned by the sect known as the Black Hebrew Israelites of Indianapolis, Indiana, after spotting a semblance of a Star of David symbol on their front door. The Jewish Community Relations Council of Indianapolis said in a statement that the crazy woman likely targeted the location thinking it represents Israel because Hebrew Israelites wording on the front of the building. But the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department claimed the woman told the officer she'd specifically crashed into what she believed to be an Israel school. An Israel school. But here's the thing. The Southern Poverty Law Center identifies the Black Hebrew Israelites as a radical extremist anti-Semitic group because that's what they are. And they're crazy people. They say they are the real Jews and that real Jews are the fake Jews. See? So the Black Hebrew Israelites have offices in Indianapolis, Indiana, and a Palestinian woman crashed her car into the building hoping to kill Jews. Southern Poverty Law Center designated the Black Hebrew Israelites as extremists over their promotion of black supremacy and their anti-Semitic views. So it looks like this Palestinian woman is actually on the same page with them. And, she votes Democrat for sure. How to make terrorism just a little bit funny. The Washington Post, which is naturally a front group for the jihad that is the Democrat Party, they attacked the new Speaker of the House over the weekend with a story headline, Mike Johnson is a pro-gun Christian nationalist. Yes, comma, be afraid. That's their headline. And from there, it goes to the usual places. Kate Cohen is the radical extremist, hate-filled hate monger with a hate crime at the Washington Post. Mike Johnson is a pro-gun, pro-Bill of Rights, Christian, normal person, nationalist. He's on the side of the United States of America. The Washington Post is not. Also, the Washington Post has a story over the weekend. How psychedelic therapy, that presumably psychedelic drugs, how psychedelic therapy may help with climate change anxiety. You people should all get an overdose of fentanyl. At taxpayer expense, of course. Eco-anxiety and climate grief are unlike other issues in psychiatry. Sure, because the feelings extend to something greater than ourselves and our personal narratives. So you guys are all mentally ill, aren't you? I mean, it's not as funny as it should be, but you guys are out of your minds. You really are. And here's something you should have anxiety over, and you should take LSD over this. Shock poll, President Trump holds sizable lead over Joe Biden in 5 out of 6 key swing states, key battleground states. And the Democrats are apoplectic about this. They don't know what to do. They're terrified. But President Trump is crushing Joe Biden in Nevada by 10 points, and Georgia by 6 points, Arizona by 5 points, Michigan by 5 points, Pennsylvania by 5 points. Joe Biden is only up by 2 in Wisconsin, where the cheeseheads may come to their senses. I hope. And David Axelrod is, Democrat from way back, former reporter, propagandist. He thinks that Joe Biden should drop out of the 2024 race, as I recommended a long time ago, months ago, and as I predicted. But he's saying that Joe Biden is bad for the party, bad for the country, and really all they care about is the party. Joe Biden will have to go.